Right then, we're going to do a season review, just for the record kind of thing. I'm joined by Emil and Zach, and hopefully I think we're going to box this off with the start of the season. We're going to do an episode further down the line in a couple of weeks to talk about the new signings.
Yeah.
We've just been down there, I've got some mud on my knees because I've been photographing.
Well, we won't say why.
Yeah.
And I'm not asking.
So, yeah, we've got some new signings. I think Rob was planning on announcing some of them tonight.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
And then the other lads at some point.
Yeah.
I think, well, we're all, are you doing the walk on Saturday? Or you're not doing the walk?
No, I'm not doing the walk.
Me and Emil are doing the charity walk on Saturday. And I think there's someone down on Saturday as well.
Yeah.
And then pre-season, I think we've announced pre-season.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And the fixtures will be coming out at some point.
Yeah.
Might take a while, yeah. It starts
Yeah.
in the Premier League, don't it? Then
Well,
it goes down,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But let's go back to last pre-season, because I just want to put this on the record of, you know, it was up and down in that we started at Prestwich Hayes, which is kind of a tradition.
Yeah.
And we're starting there again this season. We started there under Chaddy and we were really impressive. Remember that Josh Askew shot, Harvey Gregson passing the ball into the box. And this season, they had a tough season, Prestwich Hayes, this year. We just weren't at it. There was a couple of signs, like Eden Bailey came in. I really like the look of him.
What a press switch, you said, for a
Yeah.
couple of times, nothing's quite right. I mean, what I would say about, you know, Chaddy and what I think anyone has ever said is he recruited well. You know, he always picked out a good player that, again, nobody's ever heard of. They've all gone on to do good things, like, you know, your Harvey Gregsons of the world, even Josh Askew ended up with the FC, you know what I mean? He signed good players, and yeah, it just didn't quite click, did it, in the end? So
yeah. I didn't go to any of the first 5 games of the season. I just decided that I've got better things to do in my life.
And I think that the point for me, we were talking about points of no return earlier, and I think that I remember standing at home against Stalybridge, watching Lack play for Stalybridge, and you know, you're losing 5-0 and you're thinking, oh, this is so early on in the season. You know, you're thinking this is a real kind of punch in the stomach, and then. But I remember you were at the Bootle away game, weren't you? When did we lose 2-0 that game?
Oh, we lost 2-0 at Bootle. After, I mean, the Stalybridge one was 5-0. I thought the sending off was ours.
Yeah.
But after that, we imploded. Then we went to Silsden in the FA Cup. It was a no-show, really. It was a no-show. Granted, Silsden went on to win the league, but Northern Premier League.
Okay.
And it was just getting more and more and more difficult. And the lad worked his bollocks off. The lad worked his bollocks off. But it just wasn't, unfortunately, it just wasn't happening. You think about it, we didn't score 1, 2, 3. Back end of the season before when we went down, and we just weren't scoring goals, and it was just it got to a stage where with no points from 4 games, not scored a goal. We'd gone out at FA Cup, not scoring a goal. It was difficult, wasn't it?
For me, as a supporter, purely as a supporter, at that point, I worry about the future of the club. I really do, because everything we work for, and this is leading into Cleggie's return, everything we work for, if we end up back in the counties, it was all for nothing.
Yeah.
It was all for nothing. It's like, did it really happen? Was it like the Wizard of Oz? But the stars aligned, didn't they? And I never thought Michael would come back. Certainly not on the trajectory he was on.
No, and that's it. And you know, he was what, 90 minutes away from managing the Conference North. You know what I mean? And Cleggie he'd moved on, and he went on to do brilliant things. And you look at the trajectory of his career post goals. You know, Ashton United. He in reflection, when he went, everyone was like, oh, we've not really got there. But in retrospect, you think, my God, he's done a good job there, because he turned them into regular promotion playoff contenders. brilliant job at Rylands, brilliant job at Macclesfield under what I would imagine really difficult circumstances.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, like you say, he's never going to drop back down to step forward, never in a million years. But his personal life, his footballing life, his availability, it all kind of linked up quite nicely. Because, I mean, Emil, you'll be able to speak about this more than anyone, but Clegg's, not only has he grown as a manager, but he's kind of grown as a man as well, hasn't he, as a person in terms of his own business and his own career.
Well, I mean, it's different now. I remember when he come in, like in 14, 15, and I was speaking to Michael every day. Every day. Now, as secretary manager, once, twice a week, because he's doing other things and he's evolved. And
I think, can I just chip in? Laugh is doing a lot of work.
100%, 100%, and Cleggy says that. Cleggy says that.
Yeah, so just about that, it's not going unnoticed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's not the only person doing loads of stuff, but Laugh is,
That's it. And they all have different strengths, don't they? But Laugh is clearly the administrator, as it were, and he knows his stuff, and he's got a brilliant attitude, I think.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, we interviewed Laugh on Saturday, didn't we? Got a brief overview. I think Laugh comes across really well.
100%.
He's really, really on the ball as to what this season holds and what is required.
Yeah. But you just felt the big lift, didn't you? And that concert game, I think, was the big turning point. You went from, sort of taking 5, 6, 7 people away to all of a sudden there was a coach full, weren't there? And it was quite traditionally still coldsy in the way in which we got that result, because you go 1-0 up, you think Kershaw is back, and then all of a sudden the most bizarre goal, wasn't it, from that corner in I've ever seen, really. So it was quite the afternoon.
That is, so I said before we were going to talk about our own personal highlights. I think we could all agree that was a highlight, wasn't it? Of like, there's a chance here of getting the club back.
Yeah, and you could just tell how you had players like Lewis Mansell up front, and he had a few sacks at goal, and you could just tell that actually, and I think that was a moment for Cleggy where he realised, you know what, there's some good players here.
He said that. He said that word. Do you want that? He said, "I think I can get a tune out of someone."
Yeah, but I think with some of them, he realised I think I can get a tune out of some of them. But their time here is done. They need to go somewhere else for their own good. Do you know what I mean? Like Lewis Mansell's, he's gone on to do really great things at Lancaster.
I scored 11, 12 goals.
Exactly. And sometimes that happens in football, doesn't it? Where you go to a football club and your luck is just not with you. And I think that happened with a few of them. And it's great to see him go on and do great things. And so that concert was a real humdinger of a game, and to win on penalties. And then follow that up with a win on penalties against West Didsbury. You're thinking, finally, we've got the rub of the green.
We were Colsey style, we were 2-0 down.
And West Didsbury, by the way, despite them being in the North West Counties, they are no easy outfit to play. And they get 600 on the game. It's quite a tense atmosphere.
And they're very least.
And they're fighters. They are fighters, and it was a proper good cut tie. So, certainly. Baptism of fire.
The games in my head are a little bit blurred here, but we lost to Limits at home. And
on a Friday night.
I think that ignited Michael.
Yeah.
I think that he'd come in, and I think he was a little bit unsure about what to do, and which players he's going to keep, who he was going to bring in, and how we were going to navigate ourselves out of that, that hole we were in. And we lost, didn't we, to Limits, and he was not happy.
No.
And I think that ignited the fire in him, and from that point onwards, the full Michael Clegg was back.
And he knew, speaking to some of the new lads tonight, you ask them all why Cleggy, and he said because he knows how to put a group together, he knows how to win games.
Yeah.
And that was the point after that Limits game where he went, do you know what? You guys, I'm going to move you on. I need to bring these fellas in now, and that's when you started to see your Dwyers coming, your Spicors coming, and your Pigotts, and all of a sudden you're turning around.
We're jumping slightly ahead, but
no, I know you know.
The Pigs came in slightly later.
Yeah.
They came in after we lost those 3 games in 6 days. We lost 3 games 2-1, and I said that Michael's gone nuclear here because we were doing all right, and then bang, bang, bang.
3 defeats.
We were back. We were getting dragged back in it,
Because we were talking about, and not informally, no, but like, you know, you're looking at this and you're thinking, crikey, we're only a few points away from the playoffs.
I know. Well, the P word was Utton, wasn't
And we
it?
had games in hand at that point, and that's what you're thinking. But then those 3 defeats within 7 days, it
I think we went 4 or 5 games. 3 previously, we lost 2-1 because we lost 2-1 at Chasetown. I don't think we're as bad as what Cleggy said at Chasetown, but we went just before Christmas, maybe just after Christmas, 4 or 5 games, and we lost 2-1. You know, and it was.
But I mean, I don't think that anyone else in this league, any other manager, would have the pull to bring in 2 players in a week of the calibre of Scott Bakar and Joe Piggott. I don't know where he's magicked them up from Australia. They've been playing in, haven't they? He's convinced them to come here. And we never look back from that point, but we jumping slightly ahead.
Yeah.
But before that, the last minute winner against Mosley.
Yeah.
The 95th minute. Was it Kalen?
It was,
Yeah, that was like celebrations of
a near post header,
celebrations.
It was a goal. It was a goal. I mean, it was. I know Tom Dean. I mean, he scored the goal at Wimenshaw, didn't he? Wimenshaw amateurs, whatever you want to be called. You know, he scored the goal there, and we know what happened after that game. But we lost the tone to Kids Grove, didn't we, in the league?
Yeah.
I mean, that far post headed by that the wily centre forward.
But he's playing in the league. He's playing in the football league. You know, you can't give him a yard in the box.
And then we drew 0 apiece with Newcastle Town. I thought we were the best team on night. And then Mosley, we needed that, didn't we? Just a bit of luck in 93 minutes. Now look on YouTube, if you look at it, they got to him as one. Connor, not Connor, Kalen. Kalen scored goal, one of his spectators.
So, my only job here really is to capture things like that. And it is important, like you captured, like my highlight of the year was that Matty Bryan free kick, not free kick, the goal that he's curled in, into the top corner.
No,
was it against, the free kick was against Vauxhall, I can't remember, it was
the
against.
goal, was it not Sailovich that was?
No, 20, I've got it here, 29th of November, Vauxhall Motors. We come from behind after going in front.
Well, it's my job to sort of capture moments like that, and maybe it's just me that's a visual person, but there's detail in that. But there's people on the bench who weren't celebrating. And they were soon gone.
Right, okay, fine.
So we beat Mosley 1-0, and then we won 1-0 at Hamley Town.
Which was a big win at the time.
It was
and we scored earlier, but that night we could have scored, and there was something not quite right about the attack, because we found scoring goals hard. Because that night against Mosley, we could have scored 7, couldn't we? Do you not remember? We were just having attack after attack after attack, shot after, and you're thinking, how the bloody hell is this only 1-0? So there was something not quite right with the attack at that point.
Obviously, we're looking at the fixtures, we're not planning this in.
And then we lost the tone to 2-1 to Linnets.
That was a
my abiding memory was Linnets. I mean, but
I know what
they've got some character. Yeah, they've got some characters as spectators. So I fetched a few friends on, and about 8:30, they're banging drum. It's a Friday night, and I get a phone call for a lady. Can you tell them to stop banging drum? I'm watching Coronation Street. And I said to my friend, "Oh, what can I do with that?" But I mean, that's where it's all about. That's strict ballsy, yeah.
So my memories of that was them singing "Atherton's a shithole, I want to go home" for all the game.
Yeah.
And then they would stay. They didn't at full time. They didn't go. They went to the Rope and Anchor.
Yeah. It's what might Linnets. I know we're not talking about Linnets, but the astronomical growth of that football club is insane.
I think it's always been a big club because it was
the Runcorn history. Yeah.
That's always been there.
But yeah.
So I look forward to playing them next season.
Definitely.
Yeah, with Bradley and Robert.
Please, they got the silverware. Brad Robert deserves that, don't they?
I think Michael was on his holidays, wasn't he? A couple of times. We had the so we've come into this league and we played Congleton at home. And is that the one we lost 4-3?
No, but can we just... we've missed out before, and it was an absolute aberration. And the Clegs couldn't believe it, could he? When we went 5-0 down at Stafford Rangers.
Yeah. And nobody was expecting that.
Not even Stafford.
And I think that was, you thought when Clegg came in, you thought the days of the 5-0 defeats were behind you. You thought that's not happening to Atherton Collieries again. We're not going to be told about like some kind of vulnerable wild beast back and the but then when we went to Stafford and they just hit us. And I think again that was another key moment for Cleggy where he thought, I brought in a few forwards, now I need to sort the back out. And you know, Ellis, I think, was a young lad. Ellis Litherland, he was a young lad, wasn't he? And he had some good games before then, but I think it was a moment for him to realise, a moment for us to realise that this was probably a bit too soon in his development. And when next game we brought Sol in, and Sol for me, for an 18-year-old lad,
he's a big lad.
Crikey blimey, what a stalwart.
That was against Widnes.
Yeah.
If you think about it now, right? So we've gone from 5-0 down. Stafford Rangers. And then we played
top of the
table Widnes, and it was nil apiece.
And that was the confidence.
But we were best team at that. We were best team at that.
So fast forward into that Congleton. So
we're a minute, because we've got Hensford before Collieries.
Oh my God, organisation. Yeah.
So
they're to jail, were they?
Hensford, that's my
one of the.
You know, Hensford. Last time we played Hensford, was it League Cup?
We were shocked by the stature of the
stature of the ground, but also how empty it was, because we were Hensford at that point were really struggling, weren't they? You know, they were a club on the down. They had no benefactor. They were about what 200 on if that night. But then Hensford, since they've always been bought out, and you went, and it felt like a football experience. Like, you know, we got put in a boardroom separately, but then, you know, the atmosphere around the place, there's thousands on, and they go 1-0 up, don't they? You think, oh, crikey, here we go. But then Tom Bentham penalty, and then Bobby Bjork gets sent off second half, and it wasn't it? Let's be honest, you know, was it 2 yellows he got sent off for, and they were both yellows. But then Alfie Belcher, you know, on the counter attack in the blinding sunshine.
Max Baz, right? So these, let's have it right.
It's a throwback.
Max Basley
did
it was a big oof from the corner up. Max Basley did the Diaka. He sorted out. He got the ball to Pabs. What I like. And then Alfie 2-1.
And it was just sort of like the 89th minute, and you just thought it was one of those moments where you go wild. You went, and there were about 20-30 of us in the sunshine on that side terrace, and you just thought, oh my God, we've done it again, because we weren't supposed to win last time we played there, and we beat them 4-1, you know. So it was that for me was like, this is it now. But the problem is, throughout the season, you can track it. There have been so many peaks and troughs, and it's just peak trough, peak trough. And I think what Clegg is aiming for next season is just that peak.
They all. But then so then after that, after the Edmundsford was it was a Colsey performance. No, Congleton at home.
So on that, I expect us to beat Congleton purely on the basis that we played them in the North West Counties and beat them 5-0. And nothing else. And they've done us. I think we were 3-2 up, weren't we?
Going into injury time,
And they've done us.
Oh yeah.
They were a really good side. And I think Michael was on holiday and he's texting me, how we doing, as I'm trying to film it. And I'm like, these are decent. These are decent.
I think they proved to be a decent side.
Fair play to them.
Proved to be a decent side. And they've grown astronomically out of nowhere. You know? Because they got averaged about 800 this season, didn't they?
Credit to them. And then, there was just that. We were always a bit wobbly, weren't we? But I'll fast forward to that.
Because that City Liverpool game.
I'll fast forward to that,
3-0 up after 30 minutes or something, and you're thinking, bloody hell. I mean, City Liverpool at this point, you expected to go there and get 3 points. You know, they weren't in anywhere. They just, in fact, no, I tell a lie, they just sacked the manager. The season before, this was the new gaffer's first game. So it's an unknown kind of entity. It still had a decent side at this point, didn't they? Adam Rooney, you know, and when you got Adam Rooney in your back four, you think it's a decent team, this. And you know, 3-0 up, and then all of a sudden, second half, 3-3, and you're thinking, oh,
But they started singing the like club anthem.
They did,
They've been quiet, you know.
It's partisan.
They were like this club anthem, and then like within 60 seconds of them starting singing this anthem, so 4-3 and scored. I'll do well. Yeah, great. Whoever said that.
But it's probably one of my favourite videos of the season. That when it's just the quality of it, you know, in terms of the recording quality. It's like something you see at Wembley. You know what I mean? When England score.
I mean, that's what I'd like to do at every game. But it's just difficult, isn't it?
And the conditions don't allow for it. What you had then was the floodlights, I think, more than they were just so, you know.
The fact there's no one behind it, I can go and stand
exactly. And it's on the surface.
High-vis jacket and all that. But one of the things is that we're doing that, and no one at the club knows who I am, and knows who any of us are, really. And what you'd hope that next season is that, you know, they know us and they actually run over to the camera. And,
the players,
and all that sort of
and
togetherness.
We were just talking then to the new lads last season, from the minute Cleggy came in, and you'll be able to attest to this more than anyone, I think, given the amount of players we've had to sign on. It was just a scramble, wasn't it? It was a scramble all season. Do you know what I mean? It's like, right, we need to do this now this, now next game, now this. And that's just because we had a high turnover of lads, as Cleggy just found what worked, what didn't. And you know, it's an intense football schedule, isn't it? But yeah, that City Liverpool win was. I was actually angry at full time. I remember being angry, thinking, how on earth have we thrown away a 3-0 lead here? Do you know what I mean? But anyway,
we've got to take the points.
Yeah, 100%. And the 3 points made the difference.
And then Friday night after we won, beat Wivenshaw Town 2-1 here.
Yeah.
What a good side there.
They
were an absolute decent side.
George Boyd scored.
So the Butcher scored against his old team, didn't he?
But Boydie's played league again. I'm fast forwarding, but Boydie scored for them in that game at theirs. And I think that's the best goal I've seen at this level. The way he caresses and dances through, and just absolute class.
Well, he scored a goal for Burnley against City, for Christ's sake. Do you know what I mean?
It's just absolute class.
He is. He's a football league player. You know. So yeah.
And then we won at Trafford, and remember, we lost 3-1 in the FA Trophy to Trafford. Will Riding scored. Will Riding scored.
And I think we were a bit shell-shocked after that one.
Because we were expecting, the Cleggy bounce, blah, blah. But Cleggy acknowledged it. He said, right, we'll play him in a couple of months' time, and let's see what it's all about that we're playing again.
Because Trafford had a good start to the season, didn't they? They were top for first 10 games.
And by common consent, we deserve that 1-0 win.
Well, Keelan scored a fantastic. He latched onto a ball. Just the whole thing about it, the ball comes from the right back. He's positioning.
And you got another behind the goal shot of that.
I messed up, didn't I? Because it was on like 46 minutes and I'm still setting up. So I caught it on my GoPro, but then I've not got it on the handheld because I'm faffing about. So I need to improve my workflow as well.
It's not all about you, Chris.
It's not all about you, Chris. Yeah.
I know it doesn't, but still.
But then Talbot hit that.
He did.
And then we went to Nantwich and they scored it first minute and 90th minute, and in between we got mopped.
But we were the only game to play on that day, I think. Do you not remember the weather? It was a storm. And I just remember the wind. And it's a bit of a cursed place for us, that Nantwich ground, because we were 2-0 up when we played there under Brad, didn't we? We lost 2-2. We drew 2-2 in the end.
Inside your head.
Yeah, exactly. The James Hooper chant. And then the following season, we played there. Jay Fitzmartin gets sent off. Brad got sent off at full time, didn't he? And then obviously we did. We got absolutely mocked in that game. We didn't even have a kick. And there was a good following that day actually. But that's what I mean. Peak trough.
Yeah.
What was next?
Oh, Lancaster City at all.
Oh God,
right. No, we'll take it.
Neil Shepherd scored 2 in that, didn't he? So we've got to give him some credit for that. But
he was magnificent.
Listen,
hopefully that kid goes on to have a good career.
I think there's no doubt he will do.
I wonder if, look, this is my own personal opinion, whether he's gone too soon to Daisy, whether he should have tried and stuck it out here, but it is what it is, isn't it? You know, he'll do fine in the counties and it'll toughen him up a bit. But what I will say about that Lancashire Cup competition, it's a right funny competition, isn't it? And you know, Brent's he's made his feelings known on it recently, so yeah, it's a funny one for sure. It's a real funny one. But yeah, it was a tough afternoon, tough evening that, especially when you're winning in that position. You're thinking, here we go.
And then, because it was Tuesday night, and then on Friday night, we beat Vauxhall at home 3-2. We were a topsy-turvy game, and they were up there, so they wouldn't have liked that.
No, they wasn't.
They wouldn't have liked it.
No, they were decent time.
And then we went to Chasetown because, like, it was a rearranged game, so I always like going on a toll road to a game, yeah.
Well, you got more of that this season.
Yeah, and I thought Cleggy would have to make harsh when he said we didn't, because we went 1-0 up in second half.
Who scored that goal?
Will Riding.
Yeah.
Will Riding, and then we conceded, and yeah, I think they were just about the best team. And then on 7th of December, we went to Mosley. And we were gobsmacked that game we're on. It was gobsmacked.
Still in December.
Well, yeah, we were gobsmacked that game we're on, right?
The weather was foul.
And it was wind. So we had wind in first half, and we didn't really do much with it, did we? And unbelievably, Zach had had a little bit of jackbait, you know, into committee room. And in that half time, weather got worse. Weather got worse.
It was awful.
There was a bit of controversy about first goal when
we had a lad down.
Alex Doyle was down.
Yeah.
Referee wasn't interested, and they scored. And then they scored another one. So yeah, it was 2-0, but
it were a tough afternoon. I just remember sitting. I've never been as cold as I were pre-match waiting for us to come out. I could not believe the game was on in the status.
And then Ednesford. One apiece. One apiece when we come back. We missed a sitter, and they scored a couple. But they looked a good side, didn't they?
I think by that point they found the groove. Did they start the manager between then and our game and that one? Did they get a new manager?
Well, I think they got a new manager at some stage. But
I want to fast forward a bit and try and pick out some highlights. So that Staley Bridge Celtic stands out. And what a game that was. The Aaron Dwyer show.
Yeah, and it were. And I love Staley Bridge Celtic. I think it's an awesome town to go out for a few drinks beforehand, and it's a great ground, and we've got some happy memories there, haven't we? There's terracing all over the place, and you can create a proper atmosphere.
Yeah.
A proper atmosphere.
Yeah.
And,
it's a strange one, because there is an atmosphere, but there's no edge whatsoever to it.
What do you mean?
I mean, they're giving it like you're going 2 seasons on the two trips there. They've sang to us going down,
and they don't even relegate.
And neither time that has that happened.
But Staley Bridge were a proper promotion chasing side, and they'd sacked Kinsey before that game, or a few weeks before.
Yeah, maybe.
And
Chris Wilcott gone there. Johnny Mackin.
Yeah.
But you know, we controlled it really, didn't we? We absolutely controlled it.
I think that's my moment of the season then. That Staley Bridge away, Aaron Dwyer with his top off, running, which obviously you're going, that's a yellow card, oh god. But everyone else is like, what a man.
I mean, I might have celebrated that. But it was that we won 3-1 there, no disrespect, considering they'd done us 5-0. I mean, so it was a bit of a turnaround, wasn't it? You know, so. But again, it was showing at this stage of the game we were no stone drugs, and perhaps we were better against the bigger teams or the teams up at the top of the table than our contemporaries.
That's a tale as old as time. That is for us, but modern Costings, Brad. But I tell you what I will say about Staley Bridge, and this is full credit to them. Last time we played there was that last game of the season under Brad when we won 3-2, stayed up. Staley Bridge was a club on the brink of closure, I would say. Right. You know, it was borderline desolate. You know, the social club had fallen out with the main club, which means you could only have a drink if you paid something to get in there, and it was really run down. But you went this time around, my God, what a professional operation. You know, in terms of how it'd been done up, how you were looked after, and so, you know, full credit to Staley Bridge, and it just proves really in this league, you can't stand still, can you?
The word is proper.
Yeah, and it was proper.
They were proper.
I don't know, I'm jumping around here, but relating back to what you're saying, we played Wivenshaw, who liked to be called Wivenshaw.
Wivenshaw FC.
And not
Oh, no, not that one, not that one. It's hard to differentiate.
No, not Wivenshaw Town.
Right, Wivenshaw.
Wivenshaw.
Right.
Who said, do not refer to us as
Wivenshaw FC.
FC or Wivenshaw Football.
Which is bizarre.
We are Wivenshaw, which is really weird.
Yeah.
Because Bernadette's from Wivenshaw.
Right.
You are not the whole region.
The be all of the end.
No. But we played them here, and they needed to win.
Yeah.
Right. They needed to win. And they had a lad in the middle, small odd bald head, Aaron something or other, and he either fought anyone.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Either fought anyone. Yeah, I was like, I've never seen someone.
Aaron.
Everything, yeah, I've never seen someone so aggressive on a football pitch.
We'd lost 2-1 at Kidsgrove, really.
Oh, of
We
course.
shouldn't have lost at Kidsgrove, really.
I mean, that
Because we were 1-0 up and coasted, then we missed a chance, didn't we? And then we got
and Kids,
Liverpool.
that was my first time at Kids Grove, and it's a proper decent ground, that place, isn't it? It's proper unique. Kids
it's a
Grove.
good ground.
And we should have won. We should have won. And Cleggy said that. I think Danny did the post-match interview. We should have won that game. The end, you know.
And then against Wivenshaw, we turned up a little bit too late.
Yeah.
And then against Linnets on Friday night.
And Bentham's red card was the most bizarre red card I've seen all season. But anyway.
Yeah.
Do you not remember that?
It was when
Tom Bentham. He put there were some of their subs behind the dugout, and they were holding on to the ball, going for it, thinking we can get an equaliser. And their subs, wearing with the short bench jackets behind the dugout, held onto the ball. Bentham obviously gives them a shove to get it, and they've said he's pushed the spectator.
I don't even think he did.
Red card. No, I don't think he did. But either way, you know.
But from where I didn't appeal that, the game after against Linnets, when Keelan got sent off, we appealed that, and
it was successful.
The sending off got squashed, didn't it? So
nonsense.
That Linnets game was a tough one.
So I'm going to skip fast forward now to that drubbing of Trafford, because we talked about Trafford before having a good start to the season, and that was like a golden era. It was a golden patch of the season, wasn't it? When they just didn't turn up. And then we beat City and Liverpool, who Glenn Matthews has played for them. I think they were down. And then there was that really
2-2 with a short time.
that really short time.
And that was I think at the time that was a really important point.
It was a massive game.
We couldn't let them win.
No,
Especially we went 1-0 up, didn't we? Scott McCoy, it was one of the goals of the season that never was a goal.
Yeah.
You know, because he was flagged for offside, which I think to this day we're all a bit like, how?
Well,
it was an on-time decision.
Yeah. What I will say about Windenshaw Town, that was my first time being there since they've been promoted to the Northern Premier League. You know, you hear United players talk about like playing, you know, in these Italian grounds away when it's this toxic atmosphere and you feel on edge all the time.
It didn't feel. It was just passion. It didn't feel like there was any edge to it.
No.
So
my God, if I was that linesman though, putting down that line there, I'd have been like, yes, with the
I'm quite envious of that because I don't think that we
got a home away, but
quite get.
Yeah, but I get that, Carl. But it's not just us.
Oh no,
A lot of teams at home, the spectators are passive, but when they go away,
yes,
there's a fucking sherbet.
Passive with Coles isn't the word. It's we all watch the game from our own point. Do you know what I mean? We all stand somewhere, don't we? Because we all got duties, and that's the main thing. But
that stand that just compacts people. It creates, and I guess that's done deliberately. It creates.
Yeah, well, it's the choice.
And I think that the linesman shouldn't do that, but the linesman should go over there.
Side. Yeah, 100%. And I think, you know, Withenshaw went 2-0 up, and you're thinking, and do you know what? We didn't deserve to be 2-0 down, but you're thinking there's no coming back from this. And then what I like about, and this was Cleggie's genius, at times, you know, there was a clear difference between Keelan and. Do you know what I mean? In terms of pace, in terms of agility, but my God, you brought Tom Bentham on, and he was a handful. All of a sudden, it's taking two defenders, whereas with Keelan, it only take one.
That shot literally broke the net.
Yes.
Well, and I reached behind her, and he laughed with it. I mean,
And
what a moment!
And Tim Bentham knows where the goal is, and he will score you a goal when you need it.
What was really weird was, because I'm still behind the net filming, and that Scott Backhaw goal went through the keeper, but the keeper was really impressive. He looked like a keeper, right? He talked the talk, and everything. He was organising, he was communicating. But we've had 3 shots on goal, and he's not made an attempt to get to any of them. It's really weird.
It speaks to the quality of this league. That out of all the trying, because it was they got a reprieve on because they got the highest number of points trying league, and fair play to them. You know, some people would say, "Well, that's not right," but fair play to them because they were a tough team to beat.
Well, so Michael said this week there was whispers that they would win this league last season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said that I don't know how they ended up so low down, but people in the know, you know, thought that they could win this game. I know at the start Michael said Hensford, you know, if anyone finishes above Hensford, they go up.
Which was, but that was accurate with the information.
You know. But yeah, they had a chance.
Yeah, I mean, on the promotion thing, what an achievement for Widnes to win this division.
Oh, really?
You know, given that they play in that ground, which is a tough ground to play.
We forgot about that performance. We've not mentioned it. Yes. So we've gone to Chocolate League, and this is where it says we're better against maybe better teams. Yeah. And that day we scored a couple, didn't we?
Scott
Backhaw, Scott Backhaw, another Caelan header, another Caelan header, 2-0. We were magnificent.
We were, and I really, it's hard to put into words really how I think how hard it is to play football on that ground because we've all been on the pitch, you know, given the roles we we have on a match day, and when you're on that pitch, it's windy, isn't it? It's windy and it's a really solid surface. There's no plunge into it.
I was talking. I don't know if we've announced him yet, so I won't name him. But I was talking to one of the players in last season. He said it's just really hard on your knees.
Yeah, I can imagine, and you know, they know because they play on it every other weekend. They know how to work those conditions. But I think it must be so tough when you go there on a match day, playing in this 12,000 seater all stadium with 200 fans.
They massively overachieved.
No, but we rocked it.
That day, but we must have done it away from home as well. You can't just win this league on home form. They must have done it away from home. But when lads when like Ennisford Rubber House, right, they got wins. Didn't they got wins. You know, and at the end of the day, right, we got 4 points each from over a 42-game season. They got most points,
But we were awesome that day. I think, again, defensively, I just remember us being sound. And Tom Warren played that game. Who was that left back that game against Widnes?
That little interception. He did it at Conwell.
Exactly.
And underspoken football.
He was. Because they tried to play everything down his wing, and Tom just mopped it up time and time again. And it was just an all-round superb performance. And again, you know, when you go to Hello Widnes, you pick up 3 points. You are not messing about.
I remember playing Nantwich at home and like Dwyer. I mean, we've not mentioned that one yet because what a player! It was the easiest goal. Remember? I mean, that was a Colsey goal, wasn't it? When like it hit somebody's back of his foot and Dwyer was clinical from the yard. And Battersby actually from
I mean, on Dwyer, the sign. No danger. And again, he's almost underrated as a footballer in a way because he doesn't. If you spoke to him after the game, you'd think. When we had Mark Truffers, if you met Mark Truffers in anywhere other than a football ground, you think never in a million years does he play football. You know what I mean? And you think the same about Aaron because he just doesn't. He's not showy. He's not flashy. He doesn't brag about his own ability.
The thing about Aaron's goals, a lot of them, he's got into positions like that. It's the hard yards that
he drives.
Like, you know, he's 75 minutes into a game, you're blowing. Do you want to run 6 more yards? You know, on the off chance it bobbles out to you, and he always does. What an engine!
Absolutely,
just desire to get involved.
And he scored some absolute pearlers, and you know, I mean, you speak to him, he's got the broadest Manc accent you will ever hear.
A thick Manchester accent.
And he's like wearing his finest tracksuit and stuff like that, and it's just awesome. And you know what? Next season with the lads that Cleggy's building in, bringing in.
He is cold.
He is.
He is cold.
But there is going to be, and we've not had it for a while, I would say, probably since last time we got melted under Cleggy, there's going to be a proper dressing room in here. That is going to be black and white stripes all the way through, I think, and that's the God's truth.
Listen, I think, listen, I mean, that's a sweeping statement. I mean, what we had under Bradley, right? You think about sometimes. I mean, I watch them on YouTube.
Yeah, you're right. You are right. Yeah.
I mean, little Atherton Collieries were beating
drawing South Shields.
I mean, how competitive were in that top division?
It was winning against Matlock in the last minute. You know,
it was unbelievable. We just. It's just the thing is, football's cutthroat now. Cutthroat.
Well, everyone, myself included, has got a short memory. And the problem is when you got Cleggy against Brad, it's like having, I don't know, Mourinho against Ancelotti or something like that. Maybe that's a bit too much that. But you know, Cleggy was win, chug, whereas Brad did the hard yards, didn't he? He did the ugly stuff that got us promoted, and. You know,
oh no, kept us in it.
Kept us up.
It kept us in it, and sometimes he said, I mean, listen, we were a strike away, sometimes being in playoffs. And I'll tell you something.
Who won the
Brad? Yeah, we were a strike.
Oh, striker away.
Yeah, strike away going in playoffs sometimes, and it was like what he did, and the difficulty was it was just the squad was small. And when you're playing like 34, 35 games of that level, it beats it up.
And I'll never forget that 0-0 draw away at South Shields. That for me was the result because what's it called, that winger? Aaron Smith played through on the last minute, 1-on-1 with the keeper, and you think, bloody hell, he hits it straight at the keeper, and you think, oh my God, if he'd gone for the side, we would have got that result. But the intensity of that 90 minutes alone, you know, the way we had to press, the way we had to attack, crikey. But yeah, so maybe that was a bit harsh then in terms of the dressing room, but anyway.
I mean, it's we're not experts. We're only talking rubbish.
That Vauxhall Motors game will always stick in the memory, but for reasons off the pitch.
But it was, I mean, it was a Friday night. It was a bit cold, and that. Listen, I've not been there for 30 years, and it's still an impressive setup. You know what an impressive setup. Remember, I'm not saying. They were pushing winning this.
They were.
Well,
when the whistle went, we drawn 0-0. Their keeper was not happy because he knew they'd blown it.
That was it. And the thing about Vauxhall is, I've never been before. It's a funny old place, isn't it? Because it almost feels you're driving. You're going on this motorway, that motorway. It feels a bit in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. They've got a core contingent of supporters, haven't they? It is some setup. So
there's not much walk up.
No,
there's not much walk up.
Exactly.
So what have we got?
So we drew another piece with Vauxhall.
Vauxhall game, we're saying.
We drew one piece with Bootle, 1-0 when they scored late on. A little bit of controversy whether it was or not.
But I was like, it doesn't matter.
They deserved it.
Yeah.
They're a good side.
It didn't matter.
And then two apiece against. No, we went to Newcastle Town and we was flat as a witches. We were. Then
we were 2-0 down at home against Clitheroe.
And then they
brought it back.
Joe Pickett.
And what I will say about Clitheroe, they're another club who, since we played them last, we played them on Boxing Day this year or New Year's Day?
No, Boxing Day
this year, this season just gone. When I went there, mind you, we played them in Lancashire Cup, didn't we, under Brad? And I remember going that evening and thinking, bloody hell, they put some money in here because they built all that massive catering truck, that massive new stand, and they've got an LED big screen, and you're thinking,
we've been there bitch for 40 years, and then like all of a sudden we beat them 4 or 5 games on spin, and like my dad.
Couldn't believe
we beat Clitheroe.
Because Clitheroe have always been, they've never been, you know, world beaters, but they are one of those non-league teams that is a proper non-league team.
Yeah.
You know, they are a name at this level.
It's an affluent town,
Yeah.
and it's one of those where people from Clitheroe support Clitheroe.
Yeah.
And
No, but they never used to, because they only used to get 200 on average. But now they average about 800.
Yeah, but then again, things have changed. Non-league,
Yeah,
non-league has gone a little bit like. But
trendy.
you would not believe if you'd have seen like I've been here years and years and years.
Yeah.
Clitheroe, Atherton Collieries, and if somebody had said that Atherton Collieries had played to the level what Clitheroe had never been played, it'd be thought about a knock on it. So again, let's not run ourselves down. We are competing with the Clitheroes of the world who will have promotion credentials again next season.
Well, Dave Dempsey was there as the manager, and he got sacked, didn't he, for not getting promoted.
Well, I think they've had 2 managers this season.
Right, so that's the aspirations there, and the pressure also.
Yeah. But I love Shortview. What a ground that is. I mean, we've got the slope like that. They've got the slope like that, haven't they? I love it. What a ground. What a town as well. So yeah, that was a good part. And then the final game of the season, of course, was Whitton Albion, and probably the most all-round performance of the season. That first out.
Whitton Albion is a club that because I've never been involved in non-league, didn't really pay any attention to it. They played Bolton in the FA Cup, didn't they, in the 90s, like 91 or something.
I think you went out.
I didn't go because tickets were properly hard to get hold of. But they did, and we've been there a few times, haven't we, over the last few years. But this season we've gone there, and people were still saying, "Look at this."
Yeah.
You know, never ceases to surprise people. You know, the
quality of
that garage thing they've got,
the museum. The garage with the tractor in.
Yeah, all that.
Ken's had, and still now, we were in last year, our lad, Stafford Rangers, I know Buckinghamshire.
Yeah.
Gainsborough Trinity.
Oh my
God,
ground.
£5 million governments and turrets, or anything like that. And this is again,
although I'm not
ourselves short. This is what we've been up against. But we go back to it. What a place.
Yeah, the museum, even that museum, it's a proper football museum, and the social club they've got there, the catering. And, I mean, the only thing I would say again, similar to Vauxhall, there can't be much walk because again that ground's in the middle. That is literally in the middle of nowhere.
It doesn't make any sense to me, but it's an incredible facility.
Yeah.
But like you say, what a performance!
Yeah, and it was, and like did we score 2 minutes into the game or something?
Ben Funk, centre half Tom Ben from this time.
And
you're at far post, and then Aaron Dwyer.
Yeah.
In the right place, like Billy's boots. Yeah. So you were like in the right place. But we were 3-0 up. And Cleggy said, I don't think we played particularly well. But come.
And a good following that, and that was probably again one of our best followings of the season. I think because everybody knew, do you know what? This is a team that deserve a bit of thanks, actually.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? A bit of a pat on the back.
So we had an awards night, didn't we, at the club, and it felt like that was slightly a little bit of a thanks because all the players were here. We had a bit of a presentation, and it was a feel-good vibe.
There was.
It did feel as if that did come across, didn't it? That gratitude.
And it is gratitude because where would we have been, truthfully?
Yeah,
if Cleggy hadn't have said yes, do you know what I mean? And you asked that question, and they worked him, Laugh, Tom, as a 3 initially, worked.
Jack Brown coming.
But those 3 initiatives now worked their arses off to deal with the squad initially, get as much as they could out of that. Then Dorney came in. Then they looked at bringing in the right players, swapping them in and out and the other, and they worked so hard to make it. And you can't even imagine how a football manager, not quarter, but 5 games into a season, can totally rotate his squad. It's unheard of, isn't it, in football?
I do think that Michael's got a draw.
100%.
Because people have played for him before.
He's got a determination.
Yeah.
He is determined to win. And he would not have been. Where did we finish in the end? 16?
13, 14, 15. I think 15.
15.
And I think
but he would have been happy with that.
No, because there was a bit of a fall off. And no, I mean, listen, I get a lot wrong. unfortunately, we finished 10th. We might have been in next round at FA Cup.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
where I think now
Yeah.
we're worrying a little bit about. Not worrying, but the word is. Do we put a friend? Because I think season starts on 9th of August. I think we will likely be in FA Cup
on the
second of August.
It pushes everything back a bit, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
so I mean, seasons like what's happened over the last 4 or 5 years with some of these teams in North West counties.
Yeah.
Your season starts.
I don't mind starting with the FA Cup because I think there's a glamour and a draw and a pull to it.
If the draws right.
Yeah.
And that's it. And what next season, what will be, and what we'll say about that awards night, there were 2 players. Aaron Dwyer absolutely knocked the park of the lot, didn't he? But credit to who has been on a journey this season, starting from day dot with David Chadwick, finishing with Peggy, who has grown immensely. Caelan Gallagher-Allison, I mean, what a player he turned out to be. Where did we sign him from last week?
Lancaster.
Right, okay.
Lancaster. Listen, Chaddy was unbelievable again in players.
Oh,
it's unbelievable.
It's insane.
Oh yeah, I mean, you got him, you got Doyle.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and the lads who we got. I mean, listen, he was like a poison chalice when he come in to us, didn't he? You know, season before. I mean, you think the lads get Moonan, Scanlon, Siddy, and another enigma, Enoch. What Enoch's up to?
But even Babs,
wasn't
yeah. But Babs was awesome, wasn't he? You know, Pa Babu Jenkins. I mean, first of all, what a name. But second of all, I'm surprised he didn't stick about because when Babs played in midfield,
well,
we felt different. It was an engine.
It's one of those that Michael said. He played for him at Ashton United, didn't he?
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right, fair enough. So
I think Ollie Putnam would have been there as well. So Michael knows them.
yeah, and if it's not worth there.
I don't think that's the case. I just think the word is at the end of the day. I mean, we're talking rugby here. The manager is.
It's what
of course it is. It's down to the gaffer. But I mean,
and he's not. Look, he's proved he's not wrong. You know. So yeah.
But I think Michael will be looking on to finishing at 15.
Oh well. So the last time we had a promotion charge in this league was our second season in it. We finished 11th, our first season in.
We got promoted, had a season to stabilise, then we got promoted.
Well, that season was when we finished 11th.
Won the Integro Cup.
But I think we lost about 2 or 3, didn't we, in the back end of the season? And I think it showed that there was a little bit of potential.
Yeah. I was not expecting us to do what we did, but we did. This season, I think my hopes anyway are higher than they were going into that season.
That season. Yeah.
Maybe that's on me. Maybe I get disappointed.
I was at uni. I was pretty drunk at most of the day, but it's kind of the I think everybody knows Cleggy, and I think that's going to be the challenge this season. We are going to have a target on our back. Do you know what I mean? Because everybody knows Cleggy. Everybody knows he's a winner.
I want to flip that and go Bury.
Of course they have. Yeah.
Bury's got a target.
Of course they have.
And we're not shy in saying that.
No.
Right, Bury Football Club and probably never heard of Atherton Collieries.
If they don't,
they don't know the slightest thing about us.
If Bury don't finish first,
yeah,
genuinely, and this is an easy thing to say, considering they got 4,000, last season.
8,700 on the final day of the season.
Then what's happened?
That's pressure, but
that's
pressure. But like 2.23 years.
Exactly. So I've got no problem with saying we're going toe to toe with them. They don't know it yet.
Well, there's toe to toe. There's no
there's a few.
I mean, like again, like some of these places look.
Yeah.
Like Lowerbrag. I did it win the last 24, 25 on Spain. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's good. And then Darlaston, Sporting Calza.
Unknown entities.
Bring it on. Let's.
There's some good trips this year. Very Midlands based up. That's the.
So I think what we'll do is we'll try and do one of these in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
If that's okay. When we announce some of the signings.
Yeah.
And we can just start looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then talk about these teams that we're going to play next season because I think, is it Darlaston that's near Cadbury World in Birmingham?
Bloody Midlands.
It's another bloody trip,
It's
isn't it?
Midlands, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Hell.
it's a
But that's what I missed last season, I suppose. I missed the trips. You know, I loved the Morpeth towns and the stuff like that. I loved them. And granted, not midweek, but you know, I missed the trips, and you know, we've got them again. You know, thanks to obviously the way the league structured itself this season. So yeah, it's
I'm
going to be.
slightly sad to miss out on Matlock because they've gone.
Have they gone to the other
that
one?
side? So we're up and down, aren't we? But
Stiff on that one, isn't it?
yeah, it is. But so we'll try and do one in a few weeks looking
Yeah.
forward. But that's been this season. So
Yeah.
I think thanks to everyone for sticking with the club.
Yeah,
I think that's
100%.
fundamental.
Hey, and if you're here, you've stuck with us
No.
talking absolutely rubbish for us. Oh, what?
You
Oh,
deserve
yeah,
all the
thank you
credit in
very
the
much.
world.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers, thanks.